Today I'm gonna help you to choose a good picture to do a portrait, not like this one. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm gonna help you to choose the best picture to do a tattoo portrait. Either you are a client or a tattoo artist. Of course, if you are not a professional photographer, you don't know what's the best picture to do a portrait. So that's why I'm gonna help you today to choose the best picture to do a portrait. Remember, as a tattoo artist, sometimes you have to say no to a bad picture, because with a bad picture you cannot do a good portrait. First of all, be aware of the size of the picture. Sometimes clients bring group pictures to do a portrait of someone that's in there. That's not a good idea, because when you amplify the picture, the face of that person will be all pixelated and out of focus. Here in the first one you can see a bad example of a picture. If you zoom into my eyes, you will notice there is no details to do a good work. Bad resolution picture. This usually happens when the client brings group pictures, as I said before. If you zoom into the face of the person, everything will be pixelated. In this one, there's another example of a bad light source, because the light is coming from behind. As you can see, there's a window. You must avoid against the light pictures. They are not good for a tattoo portrait. If you look carefully, you will notice there's no shadows to work on the face. There's not a good contrast. There are good art, amazing art with the light coming from behind, especially on comics. In a matter of fact, I love to do watercolor paintings against the light. There's another example of a bad picture for a tattoo portrait, and you may ask yourself, why? Looks perfect. By the way, this is not the worst cases. I'm facing front to the camera and front to the light. There's no good cast shadows to work on it. And notice that the reflection of the light is in the middle of the eyes. That's another thing that I don't like to do on my portraits. Even though this kind of lighting can be good for videos like this that I'm doing now, for a picture that will be used as a portrait is not good. Forget about it. On this one, even though the light is coming from the side, that is a good sign for a portrait. You will notice that the light is very weak. There is no good light to work on the face. And as you know, the light is the most important when it comes to picture or video. And if you amplify this picture, you will notice there is no resolution because the light is too weak. So guys, this is the most common picture that comes into the shop. It's a good image and parents tend to choose the picture that they like most. But what happens is when you zoom into the face, you lose all of the details and the face goes out of focus. In this picture, there's me and my wife Joanna, and this is a common picture that comes to the shop so many times. Imagine that you want to tattoo her face, but my face is in front of hers. If there is no other picture, there is no other way to do it. I have to draw the part that is missing. In this case, it's not a big issue, it's not difficult at all. Because the most important is the front of the face, and that is all on the picture. When there's hair and ears behind something, there's not a big problem. Pictures with sunglasses. Once, a guy came to the shop and he wanted to tattoo a picture of his brother that had passed away. The problem is that the only picture that he had, his brother had sunglasses, and he asked me if I could take his glasses off because he has no other picture. That's impossible, you cannot do someone's eyes. So we did the portrait with the sunglasses. That was the best way that we came up. So avoid sunglasses pictures if you want to do someone's portrait. But remember, you can do a portrait with sunglasses if that is part of someone's image. Now I'm gonna give you some examples of good pictures with a good light source. In this one, the light source is coming from the side, and that's a good sign. That means that I have good shadows to work. And if you notice, the reflection of the light on the eye is coming from the side. That's a thing that I like to do, putting those whites at the end of the portrait, showing the viewer where the light is coming from. The light is coming from the side is a 3/4 view that I prefer on my pictures. This is a good explanation of reflected light, represented with the number 6. That's what you saw in the previous picture on the dark side of the face. Actually, this looks pretty cool on portrait. Another example of a good picture and a good light, and I really like this kind of pictures that you are not posing to the camera. This is a good example of a good light cast on the face. I love to do this kind of work. Here's an example I did a few years ago. Hair in front of the face or the eyes. Actually, I don't mind about that. In matter of fact, I like it in some cases if it's not too much. It gives some dynamic and movement movement to the tattoo. Profile pictures is something that I usually don't use on my portraits, but sometimes it looks really cool. This was a picture that I took from a client, because if it wasn't a side view, I cannot put those images inside of the head. This is a tattoo that I did about 1 year ago, and this is an example of a perfect tattoo picture. It's spontaneous, there's a good light, it's not facing to the camera, it's perfect. I love to do this kind of work, but I know that most of the time you want to tattoo someone that passed away and the only pictures that you have are those that you have at home. And I understand that, but sometimes it's not possible to do a good work. When I'm working on my portraits, I like to use an iPad so I can zoom into the details. It's very important when it comes to do the eyes. This is another work of mine. Look how beautiful those cast shadows from the umbrella look like. Artists are always looking for a good light. In my opinion, I like to do 3/4 view for my portrait. Portraits are the most difficult tattoo style. You must practice a lot on the paper before you start to do it on a tattoo. So guys, I hope this video was helpful, and if you have some questions or doubts, comment down below and tell me what you think. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, to smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because we'll be back next week. Bye!